a great ad has three big components. It has a hook, draws people in, captures their attention. It educates, it provides genuine value. You have golden nuggets, you're sharing real value, tangible value on the ad. And then you have a clear and concise call to action to get people off of the video and into the rest of your funnel, wherever you're sending people. So hook, educate, call to action.
Today, I am thrilled to be joined by Aleric. He's the founder and CEO of Ad Outreach, the #1 authority for attracting clients through YouTube ads and video marketing. Aleric, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, Chase. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. I feel like, you're a celebrity that we've all seen across the internet for a while now, which is really a testament to how good you are at your craft, I think. You've gone from, solopreneur to 8-figure business owner in what, 3 years?
Yeah, well, I would say it's been probably 4 or 5 years of that, going from solopreneur, and Ad Outreach has been around for about 6 years, but it was basically myself and for the first year there. And then I remember bringing on Julia, who's my COO now, but she came in originally as an intern about 5 years ago. And then we've got 50 people, and it's pretty incredible. So yeah, it's been a great journey.
Nowadays, you're known as, the expert for YouTube ads, but in the beginning, was it that focused, or were you guys doing a broader variety of services?
Yeah, so it's always been really focused on YouTube ads and YouTube. And I actually started out on YouTube 13 years ago with a channel, App Find. I was reviewing mobile apps, tech tutorials.
That's right.
Yeah, teaching people how to use their iPhone. And that kind of got me into the whole world of YouTube, grew that to about 500,000 subscribers. And then I started to discover the power of YouTube ads. I had, a particular mobile app, they sponsored me, and they got a bunch of downloads just by posting the video, but they wanted to know how they could reach more people. So I ran that video as an ad, got them, over 11,000 downloads in a week. They were blown away. And then I started to realize, wait a second, YouTube ads is the way to go. And the rest is kind of history. But I basically built up originally, running YouTube ads for companies. And then I shifted to the model we have today, which we've had for about 4.5 years, which is a done together model of training companies on YouTube ads, helping them set them up, but also training and working with their marketing teams so that they're able to know and take the skill long term. So yeah, YouTube ads and YouTube, that's been the focus for quite some time.
So before we go deeper into YouTube ads, I have to ask you about that transition, because as an outsider, it seems kind of crazy to go from like YouTube star to agency owner, right? Like I feel like we look at YouTubers as like, man, wouldn't that be the life to just have a huge following and probably make a ton of money off YouTube ad, what do they call it? AdSense or whatever. What made you consider making the jump into a services business?
Yeah, I've always just been really fascinated with video marketing, and I really wanted to get into the business side. And so I remember exactly when the moment was that I really decided that this is the direction I wanted to take. Really, there's two big catalysts. The first was that initial success with YouTube ads. That was while I was still, the YouTube channel was the big focus. And I started to hire other people like script writers, video editors. I had some people, they were all college students, they're working part-time, contractors, right, to help me with my YouTube channel. It got me back some time, let me focus bigger picture. And that's when I had that particular app that I mentioned, where I had my first foray into YouTube ads. I saw it was possible. That was about 8 years ago now. And what really kind of sealed the deal, though, is I remember going to the YouTube conventions, VidCon, some of these different conventions, and just talking with other people, how they were a lot more focused on almost the art of creating really great videos than they were the business side. And so one thing that I realized is I had more in common. I remember going to HubSpot inbound about almost exactly 6 years ago. And that's when I really started to dive into building out this type of online business. I remember really thinking about, do I want to go down the YouTube path, or do I want to go down this path? And it really just called me. I love the business side. I wasn't as passionate about making the best video, as passionate about getting the best result. And that drove me to the business
Do you
areas.
still run the channel?
Yeah, I still have the channel and run. So run is a relative term. So I basically read. I remember reading the 4-hour work week, and actually it's kind of funny because in some of the interviews, I think he says it either later in the book or maybe it was an interview where Tim Ferriss talks about how he was going to call it the 1-hour work week, but people wouldn't believe him, so he did the 4-hour work week. And that's really what I did with AppFind. I actually, so basically I have an hour call with the person who manages the channel for me every other week. And then I probably have about an hour of admin every other week as well. And then I have video editors, script writers, somebody else who's the voice of the channel, then somebody managing the project, maybe like a small team, a few people. And that channel runs itself on autopilot, and it still basically pays for my entire, not that I in my day-to-day life live that extravagantly, but like it pays for my cost of living just having my YouTube channel. It'll spin off like $10,000 to $15,000 a month on average of profit, and and I'm able to focus on the ad outreach as my main priority. But it basically buys a lot of that kind of freedom of having that channel that still pays dividends, even with not that much work.
That's so awesome. Would you accredit what you were able to do with that channel to ads, or was there a lot of organic growth strategy in there as well?
So originally it was a lot of organic growth strategy, but one thing that I found later on was the ability to run what are called in-feed ads to help the channel grow. And those are ads that help promote specific videos in the search results or alongside other videos. So they're not the typical YouTube ads that we're probably going to talk about later on in this podcast that appear in front of videos. Those are more conversion-based ads, what I'm mostly known for. These were more in-feed ads to help grow your channel, grow your viewership. And so definitely run those ads on AppFind. And we have ads that are designed to grow the channel, increase the impact. We have a specific sponsor. Sometimes they want us to promote videos a little bit more. At the same time, it was a blend of organic growth and ads. And in the early days, it was all organic.
Cool. So let's talk YouTube. And I feel like a broken record here, but until it changes, I'm going to keep saying it. Every time I speak with a YouTube ad expert, I'm like, I can't believe that it still feels like this secret weapon that the majority of marketers are not leveraging. And it seems crazy to me because you can run these ads, and if people skip them, you don't even pay for them, right? Like a lot of this is just free branding. So I got to ask you, why have we still as marketers not caught on to this sort of superpower that's just sitting right here?
I know, it's crazy. I feel like I've been shouting it from the rooftops for such a long time. One of my classic ads, YouTube ad beat Facebook ads every time. That's one of the classic ads that I've ran, and millions and millions of views on that ad. And I feel like I keep shouting it from the rooftops, and people are still surprised when they hop over, they see the great results from YouTube, and they say, oh, why didn't I do this sooner? And I think a big part of it is there is a little bit more of a barrier to entry, which is one of the things that actually makes it better for the people that take that leap. Because if you think about it, if there's a little bit of a barrier to entry, you have to create a video. Then people are wondering, okay, what type of video should I create? Which, by the way, I'll give you all the frameworks, give everybody listening frameworks for that. Like, I got to create a video. What type of video should I create? Some people don't feel confident on camera. I'll talk a little bit about that as well, about how you can feel confident on camera and how actually being authentic is such an important part of video, because, people aren't looking for the polished, celebrity person, TV person. They're looking for somebody like them that's on YouTube, that has their own natural quirks, like, is on camera, can connect with someone on a deeper level. And the way to do that is by being your authentic self. And I think that it's just, some people, they either are afraid of being on video or the barrier to entry. They don't know where to start. And hopefully this podcast can be, a great first step for anybody who's interested and excited about video, because there's so much power on YouTube ads and creating these video ads that way.
Well, let me pick your brain through two different lenses, I would say. Yeah. First is, our community agency owners listening, probably thinking, okay, how do I leverage YouTube for myself, for my agency, right? And I think you kind of just led into it there, right? Be yourself, be who you are, hop on camera, don't be afraid of it. What's your advice on, well, what what do I talk about in the video? Do you have any quick tips on video, and how many videos should you make and run? Is it you just need one and you're going to run that thing, or do you need 10 of them that you rotate? How's it work?
Yeah, so exactly on the YouTube ad side, what we recommend and what I recommend is creating multiple ads, but from one base video. So what I can tell you is how you can actually film a dozen different ads, but it feels like only filming 2 videos. And the way to do that is by filming multiple hooks, a couple of versions of your educate section, your call to action. So a great ad is 3 big components. It has a hook, draws people in, captures their attention. It educates, it provides genuine value. You have golden nuggets, you're sharing real value, tangible value on the ad. And then you have a clear and concise call to action to get people off of the video and into the rest of your funnel, wherever you're sending people. So hook, educate, call to action. Now,
one of the big things— let me dig in real quick, because I feel like I could really help people here.
Yes.
Hook, how many seconds are we talking?
Oh, great question. So usually you want to do about 15 to 30 seconds in the hook. And there's a few different types. You can basically have problem solution. You could have a question, bold statement, like the YouTube ads beat Facebook ads every time. You could also do more of a curiosity hook. So what if you could, X, Y, Z, the thing that people are looking for. So there's a few different types of hooks that you can create. And you actually want to create a few different hooks. So that's what I was alluding to earlier. You want to have hook 1, hook 2, hook 3, hook 4, hook 5. Come up with a question hook, right? So what's a question that you could ask your ideal client? Maybe a problem solution hook. Facebook ad costs are going through the roof, and it almost feels like even when you have a great campaign, they're almost impossible to scale. So what if you could use YouTube ads to, right? So that's one hook. Then you have a bold statement hook. YouTube ads beat Facebook ads every time. You have the curiosity hook. What if you could ethically hijack your competitors' traffic and send it directly into your own funnel? We'll show you how to do that on YouTube. Right, so there's a few different types of hooks that you can do. You can do a pure kind of value hook. This is my $200 million YouTube ads PDF. You watch this video, I'll show you exactly how you can get it for free. So you could basically have these different types of hooks and see what's going to perform the best for you on the back end. So test different hooks. So a few of these different hooks, 15 to 30 seconds. The educate, that's where you could do about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. I actually recommend adding real tangible value, golden nuggets. And why do we call them golden nuggets? Well, because they are incredibly valuable, but they're also very small. So they're small pieces of value that you can give your viewers. You don't want it to go on and on and on. You do want your ad typically to be somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes long. However, you also want to make sure you're actually providing value, because the most common mistake people make on YouTube is they'll have a hook. So they'll be like, do you have this big problem? Okay, well, go, sign up for my webinar or download my PDF. Mm-hmm. But there's not much value that's actually being delivered there. So people are going to be less likely to sign up because you haven't reciprocated in value. And so what you want to do is provide value on the ad, give them those golden nuggets. Maybe it's a few misconceptions that you're busting, a few key things to do. Maybe you're teaching them on one topic a little bit for 1.5 minutes. Whatever it happens to be, providing real value. And then the call to action, that's typically going to be about 30 seconds long. So you kind of add it all up, 30 seconds, 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, another 30 seconds. You put it all together, it's usually going to be about 2.5 to 3 minutes long. And that's what I recommend with your YouTube ads.
Nice. So let me ask you one more specific question about the call to action. I know YouTube is getting better at getting people from the video to, through a link or whatever. Like, now I know on my Apple TV, you can send it to your phone and stuff like that. Do you as far as a call to action, click the link or whatever, or do you say go to whatever.com to claim whatever, or, whatever the CTA is?
So I do say to click the link. One thing with TVs is we typically will exclude those on conversion campaigns. The reason for that is we've done a lot of testing. And one of the things I like to say too is we've got depth and breadth, right? So we spend a lot on ads ourselves, and we've got literally thousands of clients that we were able to, that we've been working with and help on YouTube. And so we can see their accounts as well. And typically TV is going to work better if it's more of a branded type of campaign. You can do QR codes pretty well on TV, or like what you said, saying the URL. But if you're
So
going for more
YouTube lets you
direct
do
response,
QR. That's interesting. You can put up
yeah,
a
so
QR. Interesting.
yeah, so you could do like a little QR on the side, and you could basically have people scan it. The downside with that though is still you're going to get conversions, but what you're going to miss out on is the conversion reporting is going to be pretty bad, because they're going from this device to this device. TVs, the way it shows up is very different. So you're really not going to get a lot of cross-device conversions unless they're really actively signed into each device. And so there's all these different factors that are included there. But what I would say is, for typically with conversions, you're going to want to exclude TVs, do more computer, mobile, tablet, where you're going to have a little bit of a better ability to send people directly to that next step. Now, there's exceptions to every rule, and also retargeting TV can work really well, because if somebody's logged into their TV and they've opted into something on their phone or their computer, but they haven't taken that final step, you can remind them on the TV, hey, don't forget to book your strategy call, or don't forget to, purchase this XYZ. That's going to be a good opportunity, or even a testimonial showing up on their TV. That's a great opportunity to get in front of them again. But in terms of conversions, yes, they have that where it can, cross over to the phone, but it doesn't, not as many people do that. And then also it's harder to track those conversions on the back end, even when they do.
Yeah, I mean, every time I see it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And the few times I've gone to just test it, the ad's over before I even figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's still a lot of work for them to do there, but it's cool to see them trying to bridge that divide, I would say. Okay, so my next question for you is, that all makes sense, and those were some great nuggets. Thank you for that. As far as all right, how am I going to do this for my agency? Now, when it comes to how am I going to do this for my clients, because in my mind, I'm immediately torn. It's like, okay, is it I need to get my clients to get in front of the camera and that's going to be really hard? Or is it I could scale this some other way by creating videos that I could use across my clients, assuming I work within a single niche or something like that? Like, what are your thoughts on how to scale this out across clients?
Yeah. So we've had people do it both ways, and it really is going to depend specifically on how your agency is set up, and the relationship you have with clients. What I will say is, typically, if you're in more of a personality driven brand, right, where there's a specific person, getting them on camera is the way to go, because then you're going to be able to have that, have them be that spokesperson of the brand. They're on video. And typically you'd want to write out the scripts like that. So, I kind of alluded to it earlier. You'll have multiple hooks, maybe do a couple educate sections. If you have different call to actions, you might do a couple different call to actions, and then you just put them all together like Lego blocks. Hook one, educate one, call to action. Hook, two, educate one, call to action two, or whatever. So you put them all together, and it feels like you filmed a couple videos, but you end up with a dozen different ads. So that's going to be a little bit easier if you're an agency and you're going to a client, and you can basically tell them, hey, we can actually create 12 or even 24 different variations of your ad. It's going to feel like you filmed 2 to 3 videos, and we could do this once, and then we're going to have a lot of videos to test. And so you could go into a film shoot. You could film all that in a half-day film shoot. You could end up with really as much as 24 different ads. That's one of the things, in our webinar that we talk about, is if you put it together, if you do 6 different hooks, you do 2 different educate sections, 2 different call to actions, that's 24 different videos, combinations that you can create, that you can split test, and you could film all of that in an afternoon. And that's the power. So if you go to somebody as an agency or a business owner and you say, hey, we're actually going to end up with 24 different videos from this one film shoot, it's a lot more compelling for them to actually want to do it, because then they know you're not going to be asking every couple months or every month or every couple of weeks to do new videos. And typically, once you have an ad that really hits, the average life cycle is about 6 months. We have ads that have run for years. We also have ads that sometimes die out in a month or two. It depends. But typically, the average life cycle that we've seen is about 6 months, which is way longer than Facebook, and also way, way, way longer than TikTok, where those can die out in like a couple of weeks. So
that makes a lot of sense. So what about the flip side of that? Can I make an ad using an actor or someone from my staff, see that it works, and then use that for multiple accounts? Is YouTube okay with that? Can that work?
Absolutely. So there's a couple different ways you can do it here, depending on, again, how you're setting up the agency. So one way that you could do it is you can create an ad that you could use across multiple clients. And so we've had different agency clients do this. Like, let's say you're getting chiropractor leads. Well, you could create an ad using an actor or actress in that chiropractor ad. And you could get them as a spokesperson. You could also do an actual casting on location shoot. Again, it depends on where your agency is at, what your budget is for this, but different ways to do it. Then what you could do is just have that run either that one ad or individually in different accounts. But here's the great part. You can connect multiple ad accounts to the same YouTube channel. And it's even easier if you have an MCC manager account in Google. So if you're an agency and you have a manager account, you can link up that YouTube channel to you can look up that YouTube channel to all of your accounts in one and have it be a shared resource. You can also create shared conversions and send people to a funnel. So you know what you could do? You could use, well, you'd want to do it on the back end. So you probably would want to do different, within, and especially here in high level, right? You're going to have those different funnels that you use. So you use different funnels. There's ways we've seen people do it where they kind of sort out in the back end if it's geography based, because then they look at like
we're seeing more and more of this. Hey, it's a franchise and they want to generate leads at the top and then disperse them out across the locations and stuff like that. So I see where you're going.
Exactly. So that's one way that people do it. But the other way that people do it is to just have individual funnels for everything. And what you could do is just have the shared resource, the YouTube channel as a shared resource in different ad accounts, and you just clone that funnel across your different clients and then run it that way. And that's exactly what you can do. You have that one great creative that you know works, and then just spread that out. What some people do as well is if you want more hyper localized, you can also hire a spokesperson to say the specific area that franchise might be in, or that particular business might be in, which will give a boost in conversions, but there's obviously also the time and monetary costs. So you have to weigh the pros and cons. It just, again, depends on what your overall strategy is. But anytime you can localize, especially if it's a brick and mortar business you're advertising for, it's going to give you a boost up. Because think about how many ads do you actually see on YouTube, not Facebook. There's a lot more on Facebook, but on YouTube, that is a hyper localized, like, here in Austin or here, wherever it happens to be, like very, very rarely.
Which to me, again, it just seems like such a golden opportunity, because for me, at least, I see the same ads all the time. And I'm like, man, there is really no inventory out there. Like, nobody's bidding after me. It's crazy. I wanted to ask you, going back to like actually having clients film ads and stuff. I don't know, have you messed with the new continuity camera from iPhone to laptop? I mean, I played with it the other day, and being able to use your phone camera now, I feel like is a game changer. If I were running an agency, I feel like it'd be way easier for me to get video out of my clients, like really good quality video.
It is a game changer. The iPhone camera is so good. What I typically will recommend is just people film an ad on an iPhone and they get a simple tool, a gimbal. You can pick these up on Amazon. They're anywhere from, well, some are a little bit less, but the good ones are usually from like $100 to $150. It's this gimbal, and you could put your phone on the gimbal. You can stabilize it. The one that I like is the DJI Osmo Mobile. I think we're up to 5 now. It's either 5 or 6, but whatever the latest one is. And basically it'll stabilize your phone. So even if your hand moves, the phone is stabilized. And you could get one for yourself, but you could also, have clients pick one up, or, again, if you're a higher touch agency, like let's say you're having them film the thing, but you could gift them the gimbal. That could be a great
nice gift, right? A nice, like, welcome to the team gift.
Exactly. So you could gift them that. So there's different ways that you could go around with it, but the gimbal is perfect. You get a gimbal, you get an iPhone, and then if you're going to record it outside in a place that might be a little bit windy or noisy, you just pick up some AirPods, and you could use AirPods as well, and that records really good audio. So really, all you need, again, that depends on the noise level. I prefer without AirPods if I'm filming indoors, but all you really need is the iPhone, a gimbal, and possibly some AirPods, and you could create really high quality video for YouTube without any other equipment.
That's awesome. All right. So now I want to ask you about a term that I've seen you use a couple of times, which is 3D targeting. What is this? Is this
Yes.
specific to YouTube, or is this more of like a strategy?
So this is an overarching strategy, but then I'll talk about how it specifically applies to YouTube, and I'm going to share some of the targeting strategies that we have. So what you want to do is you want to reach the right person. And we're going to talk about how to do that in a second, but the right person with the ability to invest with the right video ad. Now we already outlined what that right video ad is. So that's the hook, educate, call to action. So you think about it as a Venn diagram, right? You got to have the right ad, the right message, right? So the right message is layered with the right person and the ability to invest. We're going to work our way backwards to that person. So we already talked about the video, hook, educate, call to action. Now let's talk about how can you target somebody with the ability to invest? It sounds like that's almost unheard of. Like, how can you focus on what I call proactive lead quality? Well, what you can do is you can, first of all, very low hanging fruit is you could target based on the geographic region that you serve. So again, especially if you're an agency, you're serving specific areas. On YouTube, you could go all the way down to a street address and a radius around that. So that's one simple way. You also have their demographics. So you could do the standard, different age demographics, different, parental status, things like that. But the other thing that is really powerful in the United States and other specific countries, you have some EU has their own thing with some of the GDPR stuff. But in the United States, you can actually run household income targeting that is scarily accurate.
Really?
And it's way better than Facebook has zip code income targeting, but that just means you're targeting all the people in California, basically, because it's based on the zip code versus based on individual devices. So Google has built up and has all of these data points about everybody, and it knows from the things that you're buying online, because it has Google search, right? It knows what you're searching. It has Google Analytics installed in the vast majority of websites. Gmail, it gets all the receipts that get sent. There's a reason Gmail is free, right? Google Chrome, all of these different things. It has all of these data points about everything you're doing. And they know with a high degree of accuracy what is your likely household income. And so you can target people based on, top 10%, 20%, 30% household income. You can exclude lower 50%, which is typically what we're going to recommend for most businesses. And that's, again, I want to go out and support all kinds of people. I love creating content on YouTube that can help people lift themselves out of that lower 50%. But that being said, when I want to run ads, I'm putting my dollars out there. I want to be spending my dollars on people that actually are going to be able to take advantage. And the other thing too, is people don't necessarily want to see an ad for something that they can't afford or aren't going to be a good fit for. So what you want to do is you want to target based on household income. This is one of the big keys to ability to invest when we talk about that. This one shift can double the results of your YouTube and your return on ad spend of your YouTube ad campaigns literally overnight. And I've seen it happen many times. We've had clients come in, they're already running YouTube ads, not following our strategy that, they had some other strategies they were running. And in addition to other things that we can change, and we're going to talk about some targeting in a second, one quick shift you can make is we just turn off that lower 50% household income. Typically we'll turn off unknown income, and we'll only scale into that when we need to scale the campaigns. So usually what we'll do is, depending on your business, at least do top 50%. But if it's something where it's a higher ticket service, coaching, consulting, product, whatever it happens to be, I would go top 30% or higher. And if you're really dealing with only high income earners, like we have some people that teach real estate investment, coaching, we have people that, sell turnkey investment properties, things like that. Those types of businesses, you might even want to target top 10% household income earners. So you can go in and target those, and that one change can make a really big difference. Now, again, your mileage may vary, so you might want to increase. If you're running into scalability problems, you can broaden it, you can go a little bit wider. Or if you're running into quality issues, you could also shrink down and get more and more on that higher income bracket in terms of your targeting.
Is there a scale of the cost of what you're selling? Like, let's say I'm selling, $1,500 service packages. Does that mean I need to go a little, I can go a little lower on the income scale, or do I need to go higher? Like, how does that correlate?
Yeah, so I'll tell you what I generally recommend. What I do want to say though, is that this is, again, your mileage may vary. So I would go out and test different things. So what I would say is, and what we recommend to our clients as a baseline, is if your product or service is over $100, then I would remove lower 50%. We talk about that because also lower 50%. If you think about it, the lower 50% of household income earners have less than $1,000 in their savings account, which again, I want to, change that. There's, like,
sure,
again,
we're
promote
not
entrepreneurship, but we can't help the reality. And so if we're looking to target people, $100 is really the max that we want to have targeted to lower 50%. So I'd exclude that. Then if you have something that's over $1,000, I would exclude the 50 to or 40 to 50%. So I just do top 40% if it's over 1,000. If it's over 3,000, I would do top 30%. If it's over, so typically like if it's over 10,000, 5 to 10,000, I would do top 20%. And then if it is like sometimes I say 10,000, but really if it's more like $25,000 or more, like people do turnkey real estate investing, like top tier, like you're looking to really reach the people that are in that top income bracket, I would do top 10%. So in general, that's roughly where you'd want to go. If you're something on the higher end side, I would definitely be playing within that 30, 20 or top 10% bracket.
That's awesome. That gives a much clearer picture. I appreciate that. Okay, so we've got two of the circles on our Venn diagram, right?
Yes. Now the third is reaching the right person. So the right person is all built around Google's AI and their machine learning algorithm. So YouTube's rolling out some big updates around their artificial intelligence. They're rolling out a lot going into this upcoming year. And one of the big things that is really important is they've made this extra emphasis on what are called audience segments. Audience segments is the ability to target people based on custom keywords that describe that person or things that they've looked up in the past, either on Google or websites they visited. So the first way are with essentially what used to be referred to as custom affinity audiences. Now, now it actually just has kind of a longer label. It's basically, custom segments that are built around purchase intentions and interests. So purchase intentions and interests. And so if you're targeting that, what you're looking to do is target people that Google knows with all their data. And we talked about this earlier. They have so many millions and millions of different data points. You're targeting somebody that Google knows fits these different definitions. So for us, it could be somebody who's looking up YouTube ads or Facebook ads or interested in video ads, business marketing, advertising, all of these different words that describe what they're looking to do. So what they're interested in, what their purchase intentions are. It's similar to how if you look at on Facebook, you could put in these different behavior targeting. So I know some of your listeners might be familiar with Facebook. You could basically do that, but on Google, and you don't have to just do the pre-built ones that are Facebook pages or these different pages. You can actually put in basically any word and term, and Google's going to determine, is this person a match for that term? And that's just an absolute game changer power on Google. And it just speaks to the volume of data that they have. And so you can create what are called these essentially custom segments around purchase intentions and interests. So that's one bucket. That bucket's really powerful. But there's also two more ways to target people that get even more powerful as we go. So the next one are formerly known as custom intent audience. But really, these are audience segments based on Google searches people have done. So you can actually target people on YouTube based on searches they've done on Google recently. And so that's the ability. Let's say somebody's looking up on Google, how do I run YouTube ads? What's the best CRM for my agency, whatever it happens to be. People are looking that up on Google. You can show them a YouTube ad shortly thereafter based on what they've searched recently on Google. This is really powerful. And if you're running an agency, if you're doing and I'm about to give you a massive golden nugget value bomb.
All right, pay attention. Here we go.
Here we go. That is doing any type of Google pay-per-click advertising, Google search ads. If you're doing Google search ads for any of your clients, this is a massive low-hanging fruit. You take the best PPC keywords that are getting you the best return on Google search, and you literally copy them over to a YouTube ad campaign that has this custom intent audience segment built around Google searches. There's two check boxes. One is for the purchase intentions I talked about earlier. The other is for Google searches. You choose Google searches, you put in all of those different keywords that are performing the best. You just sort by, most or lowest cost per conversion, or most conversions, whatever happens to be, or value. And you have all these different these high performing keywords. You copy them over, and now you're running YouTube ads to the same people that have searched for those search terms, but at a fraction of the cost. Literally, in some of these high value search terms, like let's take lawyers, for instance, you could get a 10th the cost or a 5th the cost on YouTube per click than you would over in Google search, because people aren't doing this. Everybody's competing on the search side for, best lawyers in a certain geographic region. Mm-hmm. But you could target on YouTube people who have recently searched that on YouTube, and it's pretty quick too on YouTube. Again, they don't give you the data of when they searched it versus when they get served the ads, also because it varies, but you're reaching those same people. Yes, maybe a little bit later, so it's not the exact intent. There's a trade-off to everything, but that's a really powerful way for you to get a low-hanging fruit campaign. If you're running PPC campaigns, just turn those into custom audience segments with Google search intent, and you're going to be.
Yeah, that seems like a really good way to drive down the total cost per conversion. If you're running ads and you're like right at that limit where it's like, the client, they really want to be converting it lower than this. If you can bring it down from the YouTube side, that makes a lot of sense. A question that popped up in my mind when you were going through that is, when I'm sitting down to type in what I think people are searching, does Google tell me if that makes sense? Are they like, oh, I see what you mean, but no, they really searched this, or what I mean? It's almost like Google Trends. Is that kind of built into the product?
Yes. So you'd be able to see exactly what somebody searched, or the keywords that they used, and where your content showed within Google and YouTube as well. One thing that's worth noting is YouTube is now shifting further away from specific content targeting, in the past selecting a variety of different videos, and towards this AI and machine learning algorithm. And so what I really developed is what I call my alpha AI YouTube ads targeting strategy, where you're achieving alpha results with Google's AI. Because if you think about this, and I'm gonna give you one more really powerful audience in just a second, but I wanna illustrate this point. If you think about it, Google now has this AI here. And if you look at the world of, let's just take an example, right? Let's take the world of stock trading. In the past, all you needed to do was be better than your neighbor before all the algorithms, because you just had to have a better strategy, right? Better strategy than your neighbor. Then when all these AI algorithms, all these bots, stock trading bots came into play, if you had the latest bot, you could really destroy your competition because you were so much better. But then what happens when every single person has access to artificial intelligence, machine learning? It's like two robots playing chess against each other. You're at a stalemate. And so what you need is you need to really bring in an alpha strategy on top of the artificial intelligence, bring back the human strategy. So what you want to do is have the combination of an alpha strategy and the artificial intelligence Google has, and pair those together. And that's what our strategy is all about. So you've heard what we're talking about is adding in these keywords and building out these custom segments, not just relying on what Google has itself or just letting Google's algorithm do the trick. We're actually building out these segments and then seeing which ones work, trimming the fat, what doesn't work, focusing on what does. So you want to have that alpha component. That's how you're going to get better results than average. And that's what, if you're listening to this, you're striving to do. You don't want to just get the average results. You want to get better results. And that's really what that alpha AI strategy is all about. And what's so important about it.
Very interesting. I keep hearing, out of curiosity, when people are talking about regular Google ads, Performance Max is the name for the AI that's driving that. Is this also Performance Max, or is this something different?
So it's a little bit different than that. And Performance Max is something we're consistently testing. It's working better for e-commerce and
that's
more,
what I keep hearing.
Exactly, e-commerce. Like direct, lower ticket, more product-based items. And the reason for that I think is happening is the quality just isn't there yet. So where you can get higher quality when you're putting in more of the YouTube ads directly, Google's AI on Performance Max just isn't performing that same degree that the YouTube ad sites. What we're talking about more is using these audience segments and a specific type of optimization, right? So there's a toggle that you can do. So optimize for conversions, where Google will use their AI even in a YouTube ad campaign to optimize and actually reach more people and get more conversions from that. And so that's what we're more focusing on, is what Google's built out on the YouTube side. But it is really interesting what they're doing with Performance Max, and we're constantly testing that. That and YouTube short ads are a big part of what we've been really dialing in.
What is that looking like? What are you seeing over there with shorts?
Yes, so we're actually seeing really strong results with shorts for specific ads. It's actually better to more B2C on the short side, which makes sense, as opposed to, there's a lot of B2B success over both B2B and B2C, that is to say, on traditional YouTube. And for ourselves, like when we're testing it for ourselves, we're more, looking out to target businesses. So we also have a program that talks about organic video growth and, building out or like scaling and getting clients from video. That's kind of a mix. It's not quite B2C, but it's like I call it like business to entrepreneur, right? And that particular, those particular ads for our video clients challenge, like a free challenge, we teach people how to grow on YouTube organically before they get into ads. That's performing really well. In terms of our clients, we're still rolling out some of these strategies because we're definitely cautious on making sure that we have all the strategies in place. Right now with shorts, it's more of a beta feature before they roll it out coming in January or in early 2023. We believe it's going to be January. They're also going to be paying creators for shorts too. So my prediction is YouTube shorts over the long term is going to overtake TikTok because they're paying creators, right? And if you look at this, they're paying creators and they're going to pay them a 45% split of the ad revenue they're generating. They're also rolling out a new ad platform specifically for, not ad platform, a new ad targeting type specifically for shorts that's going to come out at the same time. So right now there's ways to do it, but you either have to be in a beta. There's also kind of a way to hack the jerry rig it to set it up where you have a short ad in a regular campaign, you target only mobile, things like that. But what my big prediction is if you look at shorts, already the amount of YouTube short content that's being viewed, and they released a study, I don't have it off the top of my head, but just the amount of content that's being created and viewed is already pretty staggering. And it also has more longevity. So because you have the title and it's indexed and people can search it, it has more longevity. It's showing up in the YouTube search results. And they're going to pay their content creators. Right now, they're not. So it's hard to, they're already doing really well, but this is before they even start to pay these creators. They have a very small amount that people are getting, but it's about to get a lot more and completely eclipse any amount of money that you can get on TikTok, or at least from the ads side of things. And so I don't think TikTok's going away. I think it's going to go the route of Snapchat versus Instagram, right? It's going to be a secondary player. Instagram kind of took over with stories. I think it's going to be similar on YouTube taking over. I don't think it's going to be a kill shot. I think it's just going to be that YouTube Shorts is going to be the dominant place. Like YouTube's going to retake their dominance on the video side. It's not going to be a question between, who actually owns video. I feel they're going to own both long form and short form, and TikTok's going to be another platform that I think is still going to exist. There's benefits to it. There's also really interesting things on the ad platform on that side. But I feel that YouTube is going to regain their status as really the juggernaut, not just in long form, but also in short video as well.
That's really interesting. And it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's exciting for anyone who's accepted the fact as an agency and a marketer that, hey, we have to get good at producing the short form vertical video content because Instagram and Facebook are going full on story style. TikTok's already proven it. And now YouTube's doing it. So you'd be stupid not to post it across all those places, right? And so if you're just posting it across anywhere that it makes sense, and all of a sudden you start seeing YouTube provide better results because, like you said, it gets indexed. I mean, YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world, right? So you're getting this long tail traffic and benefits from it. Well, of course, people are going to start to be like, well, wait a minute, like let's focus more over here. Now they're going to start paying me to create content over here. That's very, very interesting. And it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I'm shocked at the traction they've gotten on it already. It seems like there are already a lot of people talking about YouTube Shorts.
Yeah. And this is only the tip of the iceberg, because it's going to be a switch that they flip. And it's going to be in the early part of next year. Overnight, you're going to see the quality and the amount of people posting on Shorts just go through the roof, because people are going to start to realize how much money that they're able to make just on Shorts. And good content creators are going to follow where that money is and the ability to make money. And my prediction will also be TikTok's going to fight back. They're going to release more revenue sharing because they're going to need to do that.
Sure.
But I think that YouTube is going to be the primary platform. Like you said, you might as well post everywhere. I highly encourage that, especially, if you're listening to this in your agency, encourage your clients to do that. They just need to create long form, a long form video a week. And obviously you can do more, but like a minimum, right? Like, let's say one YouTube video per week, and then, and then a short a day, like 7 shorts. You can actually create shorts from those long form videos too. Now it is better to record more native, but even if the bare minimum, you just have them do 1 YouTube video per week and then create these shorts from it and then do a short per day. And you just cross post those everywhere. The long form videos you post on YouTube, I'd recommend building it for YouTube. And then you can cross post on LinkedIn. You can cross post on in a Facebook group, IGTV if you want. And then you take the vertical video, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, IG Reels, Facebook Reels. You can cross post everywhere. Snapchat if you want. Like, you can cross post everywhere there as well. But what I think is YouTube is going to be the hub where people are creating the long form and vertical for YouTube, and then they're cross posting elsewhere. Right now, it does feel like people are creating long form for YouTube, but short form for TikTok, and cross posting to YouTube Shorts and IG Reels and things like that. So I think that's going to shift. I think it's going to be primarily focused on YouTube in the future.
Wow, Aleric. All right, I feel like I need to stop here to let everyone kind of go digest everything that they just heard. But you did mention that you have some free resources that people could grab if they want to start digging in and getting better at YouTube ads, or maybe even just getting started. Where can they go to claim that stuff?
Absolutely. So you can go to adoutreach.com/gift. That's ADOUTREACH.com/gift, adoutreach.com/gift. I actually have 8 different gifts that are available to you on building up your YouTube ads. I've got my $200 million YouTube ads PDF, omnipresent retargeting, how to retarget everywhere, organic channel growth. It's all there. The one last thing, I want to make sure I close the loop on this as well. The third way of targeting is with URL audience segments. You can literally take URLs of either competitor sites or complementary sites, put them into an audience segment, and then target people based on people that have gone to those websites or similar sites. That's even more powerful. It's just another way.
That seems crazy. The fact that you can do that seems nuts.
It is. It's absolutely, it's crazy. That's why I wanted to make sure that I was able to share a little bit of that too. And I talk about it more in the webinar and some of the stuff that we have, but it's crazy. I call it the industry secret because a lot of people don't know about it. You can literally go in and Google will prompt you to say what URLs you want to target. You might be thinking, well, how accurate is that? How can they do that? Well, people don't go straight to the URL. Where do they go? They go to Google. Most people Google something, then click the link there. Or what they do is, they go to the site on their Google Chrome browser. And most sites have Google Analytics installed, or they click a link on an email. So they know where people are going. Again, we don't have a way of knowing exactly how much they map, but I think they definitely know the majority of the websites that you visit. And because of that, you can tap into that data if you know how to. And one way is to create these audience segments based on browsing history.
Amazing. That's insane. All right, guys. Well, the URL one more time was adoutreach.com/gift, correct?
Yes, that's correct. adoutreach.com/gift.
Aleric, thank you so much for coming on and being so generous with your insights. I feel like people are going to be watching this one over and over again to again, digest everything that we covered, but really appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on, Chase. This was awesome.